This is Sound Within Sound by Kate Mollison. It's about radical 20th century composers. Fantastic read, you should read it. But when I read it, I realised I'd got to the end without listening to any of the music she talks about. It's just slightly too inconvenient to put the book down, Google music, etc. So I thought I would go back and actually listen to loads of the stuff in it. I'm going to start with Jose Maceda, ethnomusicologist and composer. There's two works that really sort of struck me. The first, I think, is called Cassette 100, or sometimes Cassette, which basically involved 100 people, each with a small cassette player, playing a 30-minute piece. He'd written and individually recorded each piece of music on each of 100 cassettes in a choreographed way, walked around the lobby of the cultural center in the Philippines, in Manila, and you're sort of surrounded by the music coming from all these cassette players. But his music is sort of reflective of indigenous Filipino music. There's gongs and bamboo sticks and drones, so it's kind of quite organic, combined with this, at the time, pioneering technology of a cassette, sort of electroacoustic kind of thing. Not sure it's stuff that I personally would sit and listen to just as music, but as a performance and a thing to be in, I think it would be really interesting and incredible. The second is sort of a variation on the same idea. It's a piece, I think, called Agnayan, which is a similar sort of idea. It's 51 minutes long, 20 separate tracks, but each of the tracks is played out simultaneously on a different radio station. So I think there was 37 radio stations. This was again in Manila, and people would gather to listen. 15,000 people congregated in one place to listen, some of them carrying sort of personal radios listening to this stuff. Use of that sort of indigenous sounding music combined with an interesting technology to create this surround of music, kind of really interesting. I mean, in some ways, the instrument he invented, like all these cassette players for all these radio stations, is the thing that appeals to me rather than the music. You'd be brilliant to play with something like that. I think absolutely extraordinary. So this was the Philippines of the Marcoses. Imelda Marcos was like an enthusiastic supporter of Maceda. So he's sometimes labeled as sort of problematic was he supporting, the Marcoses? Other people have written how could you not at that time? But anyway, there's a bunch of stuff on YouTube worth having a look. Interesting performances. So Jose Maceda, he's the first one.